what's up guys? It's Vel and I am back bringing you a video on how my Trans Tornado Inquisitor Leaguestart was going for this new league and my thoughts on the Cowgirl League overall so far. Let me just start off by saying that this was actually a pretty smooth league start despite the crashes. I ended up making it into red maps. I think I was like T12, T13 by the end of day one. And I did end up getting myself a 6 link at the end of day one for absolute huge price of 30 whole Cs. I have been wearing this one ever since. I spent like 4 chaos on a couple dexterity essences because I needed the dexterity roll, and it's just been lasting me the entire time. So that was my day one upgrade. I was still wearing wands from the axe, and everything else was very basic, very bad. On to day two. This is the time I finally decided to invest a little more into gear. I made some more money. I have noticed, I don't know about you guys, but I've been getting incredibly bogged down just going back to Kingsmarch, and all of a sudden you didn't upgrade gear for 5 hours. I ended up finally upgrading gear. First, the basic wand, it's just profane, which is perfect. It's cast speed, and I rolled it with harvest, and I rolled with this for a fair while. Then I found another profane wand, tried to roll this with harvest. This one was slightly better until I finally bit the bullet and ended up paying 5C for this base, and I think like 3C for 2 essences of woe, and this was the best I got. It's been lasting me. It will do. It will do. We have a lot of room still to grow here. I did buy a Crown of the Inward Eye for 1 divine. This is one of my most expensive purchases, this one, and I had a Burden of Truth. I paid 16C for it on day 2, and then literally by the end of that day, I got myself my Glorious Vanity with Corrupted Soul and resold the Burden of Truth. So that was basically my gear for day 2. At this point, I was up in T16s. It was going relatively well, but again, getting really bogged down doing this in Kingsmarch and this in King. I gotta go do this and I gotta do it. And the next thing I know, I'm like, where's all my time gone? But I was able to set myself up for Maven 10 and my Eater and Exarch. Day 3, I did a tiny bit more upgrading. I ended up buying this shield for, I want to say 10C, maybe a little less. And I bought this base necklace for 15C. Again, just a few dexterity essences. And I threw that on and called it good. I also ended up finally getting a couple flasks autoing, and that's been really nice as well. This was my shield before, which I found on the ground. It did me really decently, but it doesn't have ES, and it's not really comparatively as good. So I'm really glad I replaced that. And I ended up getting both of my watchstones. I would have loved to have gotten my watchstones earlier, but the town is absolutely bogging me down so much. Great news is though, only 2 more watchstones left. There is a ton of room on this character still left to go. I don't even have my RF on. I don't got my good chest piece on. I'm wearing questionable belts and boots and all sorts of miscellaneous stuff. So I am elated with where I'm sitting right now and how much more I have left to do. I've also been testing out Battle Mage Cry and Infernal Cry, and I'm gonna be honest, I thought they'd be all right since we generally stand with a bunch of mobs around us anyways, but it doesn't feel that great. Then I tried out Sigil of Power, but we don't really spend enough mana to make good use out of that either. Then I threw on Frost Shield, and let me tell you, Frost Shield was absolutely the play. If you are in the low life transition right now, pop in a Frost Shield. It is going to feel so good. There are a couple of mechanics that I didn't actually try out enough last league that I tried this league and didn't like as much with Tornado. Like Expedition, it's really good for open areas because you can just circle around, but when it comes to closed areas, which let's face it isn't that great for Expedition anyways, but Tornado is the type of spell lately where it's been hanging out right in the beginning of the pack, not actually going far enough through it. So you just have a bunch of guys way back in a hallway trying to shoot at you while your tornado is trying to deal with the guys right in front. Blight is another one because of the multi-lane. You can only have 3 tornadoes out at a time. Sometimes Blight lanes is like 6 branches in different areas, and that gets a bit questionable. Legion isn't actually that bad, but Tornado still has that issue where it doesn't look at the chests like they are enemies. So it may, instead of attacking a chest you want to open, go off to an enemy instead. I actually found that Alva was slower to start than I thought. Like I was running, I managed to maybe kill the Architect, but I couldn't full clear it with my damage as it was, at least on day 1 with my Act 6 wand. So that I wasn't as happy with. There was also some really surprising standouts as well, like Ultimatum, for example. I thought for sure Ultimatum was gonna dedge me so fast, but I actually had a really decent time in Ultimatum, and I might end up speccing into it. There's also Ritual. I know it's pretty spooky, but it's also super rewarding, and it's one of those nice mechanics where you throw up a tornado at you and then you just run around, and your tornadoes are gonna go and rip through all the mobs that you don't have to worry about aiming it. It's doing the work for you. So as long as you can run circles, you're good. It's been pretty profitable so far. Definitely a surprising standout mechanic for me, despite its scariness. Abyss is another one that I have had a surprisingly good time with so far, and it has convinced me that maybe my 3rd Atlas tree should look into Abyss. How profitable Abyss is actually going to be for me, I'm not sure, because I'm not on an Atlas tree to check out the profits yet, but I definitely want to give it a shot because Tornadoes and Abyss seem to work really nicely together. Oh, I have also had a few encounters in the Wildwood so far. I gotta say, the Wildwood, I was able to complete it. I got all 4 corners. I've got like 6,000 juice, but currently with where my gear is sitting, it's pretty rippy, the actual mobs outside of the Wildwood, and it just takes some time to kill them right now. We need to beef up our grief a little bit. I gotta say though, Tornadoes, not only do they look super cool in the woods because they make like the wisps kind of swirl around with your tornadoes and it looks really interesting, but they also go and seek out enemies in the darkness. So it's really nice for that. I'm hoping that I'll be able to get my character a little more beefed up maybe tonight or tomorrow and really start to pop off in the Wildwood because I absolutely love the wild. I'm the kind of person that despite the fact that Affliction was dropping divines like crazy, it was the Wildwood was so much fun for me. I was so elated that it came back. Overall, I think that my character is progressing really well. I have a ton of room to grow, and I am pretty damn pleased with it. Now, let's have a quick conversation about Kingsmarch. How are you guys feeling about it? Let me tell you how I'm feeling about it. Overall, I love it. I generally, though, knew I would because I like idle games, so I wasn't, very surprised by this. There was a couple things I thought that was weird. For example, my Kingsmarch does not have a button for the town at all. My Johann does not have a map button in my hideout. So I might have to go and look into that. But I mean, that isn't too bad at all. I do find that I get insanely bogged down with this, that in Kingsmarch, but I'm also somebody who has ADHD, so it has been a little hard to keep focus on one thing. I would absolutely love it if they put icons for things in my hideout. Mainly, for example, Tujin. When my boats come back, sometimes I see the message and forget about it, or I don't even see the message. And because I guess my map's broken from Johann, I can't go and look without going back to Kingsmarch and how much time is left on my boats. If I could just see a little icon above his head to be like, yeah, your boat's here, that would be fantastic. I don't know if that's actually possible, but I would love it. The currency market is so immensely game changing. My like words cannot express how nice it is to be like, you know what? I've got 6 vols and I don't need any of these right now. And I can actually sell this for like 1 chaos each instead of having to go bulk buy 40 vols because nobody responds. And the fact that it updates in real time so quickly, it's so nice. My only downside is I'm not a fractions Andy. I'm not very good at fractions. I've never really been good at fractions. So, you know, it'd be nice to have something for the people that are Peggle like me and don't understand fractions as well. But it's fine. I'll get used to it. I'm sure I will adjust, right? It will be fine. I also feel like I am constantly running out of gold. Oh my God. I went today, put in 60G. It said it would be a day of work. I was so elated. Then I had to upgrade. I was out of gold within under an hour because I had to upgrade. It was terrible. Oh my God. And then I was just constantly trying to run a couple maps to get my gold production back in because my boys needed it in a couple maps and then the gold production. Oh my God. I do imagine that when everything's upgraded, the gold's going to feel just fine. But right now I am feeling things are feeling tight on the purse strings. You know, everybody wants too much money. And they haven't even been doing a very good job. They haven't even, you know, I sent out some great sailors and apparently these guys had what they call calm seas or something and had to eat all of my wheat and and what did they come back with their shipment? Bupkis. It was a 2-hour run. I was not happy about that. The risk wasn't even that bad. Very upsetting. But I guess that's the price you pay when you put in some risk, isn't it? I've yet to do any of the bosses. I hope to do some of the bosses, and I hope to give you guys another update video soon about how this character is going and where I've gotten it to, and I'm so elated. I love this league so much. Let me know how you feel about it. Write in the comments below, and I hope to see you in the stream on the next video later. Bye, guys.